Today we're going to go along with a bunch of vintage vehicles on the Relic Run during the winter 4x4 Jamboree 2023 at Sand Hollow near Hurricane, Utah. We started out at the Washington County Fairgrounds.
Look at him, he's faster than on Junior.
And we had one little problem with the tire that had to get changed. That was really the only issue we had the whole trail. Once we got the tire changed, we were able to head out.
Faster, go, go.
Oh, I just stripped it.
We went over to the Sky Harbor ranch area, which is basically a subdivision with an airport, and it's over on the other side of town. We gathered our group up. You can kind of see the different variety of vehicles we have, between flat fenders. We had a International Scout, Willys FC pickup, even Matt from Matt's Off-Road Recovery brought along his Chevy Corvair off-road creation they call the Morvair. We headed out on the East Rim Trail. The East Rim Trail is an awesome scenic trail, not too difficult for people to kind of get their first taste of the things that Sand Hollow has to offer. The beginning, it's kind of just these sand roads with sagebrush.
I want to film these guys right quick now.
Here we're coming up to our first stop, which is at this little memorial with a flag. Just stop there to stretch our legs for a second. This truck coming up right here is Steve Maxfield. It's a 1924 white. I think it was based on a Yellowstone
So this is just our first stop.
tour bus that he's made into a cool wrecker that he calls Mater.
ATV or something right here. We'll jump back in and go in a minute here.
After the memorial, we went down this little hill and dropped down this little step. This is really the first kind of obstacle that we encountered at all, giving people a taste of a little bit of a taste of things to come. After this step, we come to the main obstacle on this trail that we encountered is this rock wall here. There is a go around. This is me and my 48 CJ2A, Grandpa's Jeep. I'll try and get as many of the rigs as I can going up this. This is Mike Johnson in his International Scout. It is really an awesome rig. It's up and great. Following Mike is Dave Delight in his Willys FC 170 pickup. This is a totally stock truck, no lockers or anything. Dave gives it the old college try here on this wall. But he didn't want to bang it up too bad. My apologies for the wavy video. It's a little hard to hold it steady when you're zoomed in. Dave brought 4 different vehicles with him, family members and friends. Oh, I don't know where that Bronco came from. He's not in our group. Going the other way. This white Jeep is one of Dave's. It's a pretty neat survivor. It's a Tuxedo Park Jeep. Kind of the fancy going to town Jeep that Willys came out with. And this is a totally stock Jeep as well. He backed up and went around. This third Jeep is from Dave's family. This is his son Brian. I don't think Brian's Jeep has lockers either, but Brian's a little bit more generous with the skinny pedal. He gets on the right line here and he makes it up. This last Jeep is Dave's kind of everyday Jeep. He calls it his rusty Jeep. Hits the right line and pops right up. Next we have Kevin Johnson. No relation to Mike and Jake, but Kevin's Jeep is very capable and he's a great driver. He takes it, no sweat. This white wagon is really an awesome car. It's owned by Pete Anderson, who runs the Old Willys Forum. He started the Old Willys Forum so he could talk to other people about his Willys wagon, and now it's just sort of expanded into all other kinds of Willys rigs. Old Willys Forum. This is Jake Johnson in his red Jeep. It's really cool Kubota diesel powered Jeep. My friend Jeff Petrovich in his 1943 MB, Willys MB, he calls Bam Bam. Jeff's equipped Bam Bam with some custom made gears in the transfer case that give it a super low gear ratio. You can see how slow those tires are turning. The recent weather we had with snow and rain made it hard for his tires to hook up going that slow. So I had to back it up and give it the onion a little bit.
I mean, but yeah.
Wade Rogers in his CJ3A made it easily. He has extra traction devices. This is Rusty Jackman in his Jeep called the Limo because it has an extra long back end welded on it. I'm embarrassed that I can't remember this couple's name in this awesome rig. They ripped it up the whole day. Not the Jeep, the trail. Troy Saladin was part of our trail help. He got up this pretty easily, but we got a good picture from the other side that looks pretty cool with his tires in the air. This is Matt from Matt's Off-Road Recovery in their Chevy Corvair that they built into this awesome off-road recovery vehicle. And he took a different line, a little more difficult line to the left. And that's how we discovered that they are having a problem with their right front wheel. The hub wasn't engaging properly, so that right front tire is dead. And it's right up against the undercut step. The other three tires turn and can't overcome that dead tire against that step. Still dead. Eventually Matt backed it up and took a little different line so he could get that dead tire up on top. Not push against that wall. So able to roll right up. And they did stop right there and fix that hub. So they didn't have any problems for the rest of the day. Here's Steve in his super cool white 1924 Wrecker Mater. This is Brad Knight, who owns the Burley Burger restaurants, and he has a cool Jeep. We kind of came up on another little obstacle, and I was watching, looking back to make sure everyone was doing okay. And this family in this Bronco, which is a really awesome truck, but it's pretty much stock, was a little bit concerned. They hadn't done too much early rock crawling or whatever it is we're doing here. Mostly they'd done forest roads and things, so I went back just to give them a little confidence booster. They did really great. There's just a slick rock slope right there. You can't see it very well, but it's slick, and with the wet sand and that sticking to the rocks and the tires, it can be hard to get up, especially if you're going slow and cautiously. Right here they'll get spinning their tires a little bit. Can't quite get up. So I talked to him about the little Moab bump technique, where you just back it up a little bit and give it just a little bit more speed. It doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to be out of control, but just a little bit more speed, a little bit more throttle. And you can get enough momentum to make it over those little bumps, and sometimes even big bumps. Troy decides to take a different line to the left, and we didn't really get that on video. Him going up the alternate line. He stopped and waited for these other guys to get by. Mater just rolls up it like it's not even a bump. There's a few other steps to drop off of, and some steep down slopes and things that can be challenging or interesting if you're not used to it. But all of these vehicles are very capable of doing anything that we encountered this day. A lot of the video taken in this thing is taken by my friend Jeff in Bam Bam. He's an awesome driver and an awesome cameraman, and he's just all around awesome in being able to do all this at once. I really appreciate him and his doing a lot of this filming for us. Here we are coming up to our lunch spot, which is on the top of a cliff overlooking the Warner Valley. You get all kinds of different landforms and stuff here in view. Back behind us, there's the Pine Valley Mountains back there, showing up white in the distance, the Hurricane Cliffs. And then as we swing around in front of us, you'll get to see more of the Warner Valley and the cliffs opposite. It's kind of an interesting contrast today with the snow from the day before still hanging on the cliffs across the way.
Made it. Wow.
We're lunching here. Set up here, Mike? Yeah. No, you do good. You're great.
Now it's time to get the drone out.
Jeff mentions a drone there. He didn't bring his drone on this trip, but Mike Johnson in the International Scout brought his, and he let me put these amazing shots in here. Looking back down the road we came up, and you can see the big view across the Warner Valley, and you're looking down at Arizona there across the way. I probably could have cut some of this drone footage out, but I just thought it was so amazing and awesome that I couldn't bear to leave any of it out. Our little band of relics looks pretty insignificant on top of that cliff there. After the lunch spot, we drove down along the cliff and then drop down this sandy hill down into this wash. Our destination is up there at that rock formation at the top of the hill you see in the distance. We had to go through this wash to get there. Before we got to the top, we found this other little rock step that some of us stopped to play on for a minute. Jeff took a line and bam bam that was just perfect to catch his belly on this point of this rock, so that he had 4 wheels spinning, none of them grabbing. One of the nice things about our little Jeeps though is if you get stuck like this, just get a few guys and give it a push. You can push them off. Wade took a little different line and go right up, no problem. You can see a lot of people went around, which was great too. These guys made it up, a little exciting. Matt put somebody else in the driver's seat. Still no problem for the Morvair. We got up to the rock formation. We'd gotten a little scattered out, so we stopped here to wait for a minute and kind of gave us an opportunity for this little parade of vehicles. The FC-170, the Willys wagon, Once we all got gathered up here at the top, we headed down and around another rock formation to the other side where there's a fairly famous rock formation in Sand Hollow called the Flintstone House. It's a little formation that you can get out and get inside, almost like a little cave with windows. Reminds you of the Flintstone House. There's the Flintstone House. And that's the end of our video. Thanks for watching.